swap a verse, and I can play ball in real life. So when they making fun, it never work. They think they offended me. I'm dodging that energy. I know who my friends are now. You currently dead to me. This shit gon' last a century. And every time they mention me, increase my life expectancy. Maybe this my destiny. Loved and hated, then hated and loved. Never betrayed to be a thug, but know a couple who hold slugs. Ain't fighting Spider-Man, but everything I'm spitting venom. Had to look in the mirror and get my shit together. Cause sometimes you think it's over, but it's only getting better. Yeah, good friends going with the wind, like Pac said. Legends never die, so we not dead. I'm a fresh white boy.
Ramily. It's your boy, Ramsoholic. Today I'm joined by a special guest, KJB, who's probably one of the biggest 49ers fans I know. KJB, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Just want to say thank you for having me on your show. A lot of respect for you as a content creator. I see the grind you've been putting in with your Rams videos, and yeah, just nothing but respect for you. Uh, yeah, it's Rams week for 49ers fans, so uh, big division matchup coming up. I know Rams fans are pumped up. Niners fans are pumped up, so yeah, I'm excited, and I'm excited to talk about the game.
Absolutely. So, where can anyone find you for 49ers content?
Yeah, so you can check my Twitter. The name is at underscore it's KJB. Uh, Definitely going to be more active coming up with my thoughts on Niners games, just everything Niners related topics. You can catch me on there.
Awesome. So yeah, big week. This is the battle of the two top teams in the NFC West. You
Yep.
have 49ers who won big in Pittsburgh, which I was
Yep.
surprised. The Rams won big in Seattle. I wasn't surprised, but I think the consensus definitely was shocked the way we won. And yeah, we were
Mhm.
5.5 point underdogs. So, what are your thoughts week one seeing Pittsburgh, seeing you guys win in Pittsburgh the way that you did?
Man, I thought it would be way more competitive. I'm not going to lie. Uh, I don't know, man. It was just domination throughout the whole game. I was very excited to see the defense didn't lose a step with Steve Wilkes as defensive coordinator. The preseason uh, under under D'Amico, our run defense was really good, and during the preseason, it was leaky, and I wasn't sure if that was just a product of D'Amico coming in and maybe a new defense being installed, but it picked up right where it left off last year. Pickett, everyone was hyping up Pickett to be have a upcoming season, but he struggled mightily. Uh, yeah, the defense was just firing on all cylinders. I mean, they barely had any yardage in the first half, and the game was pretty much over from there. So I was happy to see that. I was happy to see Ayuk coming into his own as the playmaker he is, establishing himself as a wide receiver one in this offense. I mean, he was just toasting Pat Pete. He could not cover him one bit. Uh, so that was very exciting. And obviously, the player Brock Purdy. The second half, he really didn't need to put his foot on the pedal. He was just kind of coasting. But, it was very exciting to see how decisive he was. Uh, he's a great fit for the Shanahan offense. You get that defense firing, you get that offense clicking. We're a tough team to beat, injuries permitted. So yeah, I just think the team was just firing on all cylinders, and for a matchup that people thought might have been a little tighter, especially in Pittsburgh, Niners didn't disappoint. So it was definitely a good show in Week 1.
Yeah, I mean, perfectly said. I started to watch the game and then I switched to red zone after
Mm-hmm.
you guys I was like, wow, this doesn't look good for Pittsburgh. Off the rip, you guys got out there, put points on the board quickly.
Mm-hmm.
The defensive line mainly like got at Pickett, Drake Jackson. I know you've
Yeah.
been big on Drake Jackson for a while. He was
Oh
doing
yeah.
his thing, 3 sacks.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, he was
huh?
he was someone last year I was excited they drafted.
Hmm.
And towards the end of last year, he really slowed down, and they say it was just kind of like he just wasn't. I don't want to say built for it yet, but like he wasn't really playing that much towards the end of last year. But he put on around. I think I got it down. He put on around like 20 pounds this offseason, but he really didn't lose his athleticism.
Wow.
And I mean, he showed it. I mean, he leads the NFL with 3 sacks right now. Obviously, it helps when you have the other playmakers on the defensive line like we do.
Hmm.
But he capitalized on the opportunities to sack Pickett. So, uh, just to see that, it adds another dimension to our defensive line, which I'm excited about.
Yeah, and you guys probably have the best defensive line right now. If Drake Jackson plays like that, because you already had Hargrave, Bosa, and Armstead. So if you add Drake
Yeah.
Jackson, that's a 4-man front that's going to be
Hmm.
trouble for most teams.
Yeah.
I did have Pittsburgh winning this game. I know, obviously, me and you talked about that um,
Hmm.
offline, and I thought Pittsburgh was going to make that step. They were 9-8 last year. They're at
Hmm.
home. Their defense on paper looked solid, but the secondary with Patrick Peterson, you mentioned him on Ayuk,
Yeah.
it's your cornerback one. Then you're probably not going to do that good. But he
Yeah.
drunk. He was talking, wasn't he, about Purdy?
Yeah, he was. Yeah. Yeah. He said they had the reads. He said he was going to get a pick on him. And I think that fueled Purdy to, what I'm saying, target him a little bit, which, I mean, that catch that Ayuk made and the throw, Purdy kind of threw it right where it needs to be. And
Hmm.
Ayuk just made a great catch. I mean, Pat Pete was there. It was just a better play by Ayuk, really. Um, I mean, that was the weak spot for me, the secondary. I mean, Minka, you got to show respect. Obviously, that defensive line, one of the best in the league, and I was nervous about that, about going up against our offensive line. Uh, T.J. Watt, obviously, monster. He got his 3 sacks. The right side of our line could be a little bit of an issue going forward, but you saw kind of Purdy kind of go more to the left sometimes just to avoid that. But yeah, I agree. When you have that secondary, the Niners capitalized on it.
Yeah, and that's what I think is going to be the matchup of the game. It's going to be the Rams' offensive line, which actually kept Stafford with a clean pocket 76% of the time.
Yeah.
Um, they did offensive line rankings. I think the Rams were at 3, like
I'm
with the
sure they
86
shot up
rating.
because before Sunday, I mean, people weren't really thinking much of the Rams offensive line, but
Hmm.
I'm not sure how well they did with the run blocking, but I mean, it seems like Stafford had clean pockets, and I didn't watch
So
that game on. Go ahead.
so with the run game, it was more that Seattle was trying to. I mean, they're going to be an improved run stopping team with Bobby Wagner.
Yeah.
That is what
Hmm.
he is known for. He is not a pass coverage guy, especially not now. So
Hmm.
they're going to be better. They got Draymond Jones from Denver, so they were definitely going to be an improved run stopping team.
Hmm.
And the people that say the Rams' offensive line was not going to be good, you're just basing that off last year when the Rams had the most injuries to an offensive line in NFL history. We had guys coming off the street. Um, those guys that were on our roster last year, they're not even in the NFL right now. And
Damn.
then you throw in the fact that Stafford had a hurt back. He had injuries from that Super Bowl run,
Right.
and now he's healthy. Steve Avella, second round pick, looked great. Alaric
Yep.
Jackson at left tackle. Coleman Shelton, finally they are putting him at center over Brian Allen. Joe Noteboom at
Hmm.
guard, and then Rob Havenstein. So on paper, I was never worried about this offensive line. I'm definitely
Yep.
impressed, and this is the biggest test for them the whole season. They won't. The
Hmm.
Eagles have a good defensive line, but I don't think it's as good as San Francisco's right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely one of the top matchups of the game right there. We need to make Stafford uncomfortable. We need to force pressure. We need to force picks. We can't just let him sit in there and have all day, just letting his receivers get open like they did against Seattle. I mean, Puka, so a lot of times he was just wide open in the middle of the field. Uh, Van Jefferson missed a wide open deep pass. I saw when watching the game. I mean, even Tutu was getting open. So, I'm sure the pass blocking contributed to that. And yeah, that's going to be a huge matchup. I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to your boy Avila, if that's how you say his name.
Yep.
He's going to have to face Hargrave. That's going to be a great matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you know Bosa, if he lines up against Havenstein, that's going to be another great matchup.
Yep.
Uh, so it's going to be fun to see.
Yeah, for sure. And
Mhm.
so I know that you're a big Trey Lance fan. You have his autographs. So after seeing what Purdy did in week one, how does that make you feel about the way San Francisco handled this whole Trey Lance situation?
I mean, I'm still disappointed because I'll never really get to know how, you know, if he had like more games than three full starts, then, I'd like to see how that would have ended up. But at the end of the day, it doesn't hurt, right? Like Purdy's been balling out. I mean, he hasn't lost a game yet. That Philly
Mhm.
game, he didn't finish. Who knows? Philly won, props to them. But truly in Brock's NFL career, he hasn't lost with us. And he's still young. He's only 23 years old, and he's kind of showing a playmaking ability that I thought Trey would do. Like he's escaping the pocket, rolling out, making on the money throws, and he's showing more of a vertical game as well with his deep throws. Um, I don't want to get too ahead of myself because it's still a small sample size, but I mean, I'm becoming more of a Brock Purdy fan than ever before, and I mean, I got to. He's the leader of this team right now. If we want to win a Super Bowl, he's going to be the guy to lead us. So, um, I guess my answer is it's disappointing because I had such high hopes for Trey. You know that, but
Mhm.
we still got Brock Purdy, who's still only 23 years old, um, and who's to say he can't grow and develop even more? So, yeah.
Yeah, great. I hear you on that. So,
Mhm.
KJB, explain to everybody. I know you've been a 49ers fan. I've known you for over 15, 16 years. Um,
Seriously.
Let everyone know what made you become a 49er fan and
Yep.
explain your fandom.
Yeah, I mean, I was, dude, probably like 5, 6 years old. I'm from Fall River, Massachusetts, same city as you. Born and raised there. And man, I was like 5, 6 years old, and the Niners were, the best team in the league. They had Steve Young, Jerry Rice, all the dogs. Man, they were top of the top. They just came off a Super Bowl win. So me, just being a young kid, I gravitated towards the best team in the league, and my love for them just it just exploded. And back in the day, we didn't have the internet, mid 90s, late 90s, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have phones. I was looking at newspapers, just looking at stats, looking at standings, uh, watching obviously ESPN, all that stuff. But I guess that's my answer. They're just the best team in the league. But quickly after that, being top dogs ended, which made my fandom grow even more because when you go through them tough times, just to see them win again ain't nothing like it. Uh, but yeah, that's kind of how I became a fan. I was just young, like the best team, and uh, it's been love ever since.
Awesome. All right, yeah. So, what do you think? So, this is obviously a big matchup, a big rivalry. So, what
Yeah.
would you give? What are the keys to victory for your 49ers to beat the Los Angeles Rams this week?
Key to victories. I mean, I kind of touched on it a little bit before. Again, that pressure on Stafford. Uh, not letting him have a clean pocket. Like I saw you on that CJ show yesterday. Everyone
Hmm.
knows it. Niners run defense, arguably best in the league.
Hmm.
That forces teams to, get uncomfortable and have to throw more. You saw it last week versus Pittsburgh. Do they truly want to make Pickett throw all that time? So do they want to force feed Najee and Jalen? We took that right off the
Hmm.
bat. But you guys, versus Seattle, Stafford had 300 yards throwing. Um, so I think we definitely got to get pressure on Stafford, make him uncomfortable. Um, I mean, offensively, and that's one of my other matchups: the Rams secondary versus Ayuk, Debo, because you guys handled Geno. I mean, he threw for what, like not even 120
Hmm.
last game. So,
Yeah.
I got to give the Rams secondary props on that. That's going to be another test. Ayuk, Debo versus those corners. They showed up. We'll see how they do this week. Um, Making sure the run blocking is effective as it was against Pittsburgh. I mean, CMC is a dog, so if we can get him going, like I know Shanahan wants to, that's always a key. I mean, yeah, just kind of firing on all cylinders, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. That's definitely some big parts to the game plan for San Francisco. I think also I thought about this a little bit more is the Mike LaFleur. I know he knows Shanahan.
Right.
So
Right.
now we have him and McVay together to
Mhm.
try to think of a game plan, something different. So you mentioned our secondary, and
Mhm.
we have another cornerback that you guys once had, Akilo
Yeah,
Witherspoon, who
Kello.
actually played
Mhm.
played great and so good
Yep.
that DK Metcalf wanted to push him down.
Yeah, I saw that.
Uh,
Didn't he get hurt from that?
yeah, he did. He's still playing,
That's
but
crazy.
he got hurt, so they need to find
Mhm.
DK for that. And
Mhm.
then Kobe Durant, who I think is our best cornerback, he actually plays in the slot. So
Mhm.
I know you guys. Who's is Debo mainly your slot receiver, or is that
I mean,
Ayuk?
they kind of alter. Against Pittsburgh, Ayuk ran around 30% in the slot.
Okay.
Debo ran around 40%.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, they kind of line up everywhere, to be honest. And you see the formation. Sometimes they're bunched together. Sometimes they're bunched out wide.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this. Sometimes Debo's in the backfield. Uh,
Right.
I think Ayuk's better suited as an outside receiver. Um, he can do more, route running and, one-on-one catching more than Debo can.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, yeah, they kind of line them up everywhere. Tell me more
Yes.
about the Rams. Tell me more about the Rams secondary because I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't know much about Darian Kendrick,
Darion
Kobe
Kendrick.
Durant. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you've hyped up Durant a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, tell me more about your secondary.
So Darion Kendrick, this is year 2 for him. He missed a lot of training camp with a hamstring injury, and then he just got over it recently. He's actually a Georgia Bulldog, so he's just got that dog in him. He's a
Right.
physical corner who
Mhm.
his coverage skills could be improved. I love his physicality and tackling, but Kobe Durant is the guy that's more finesse. He's shifty, which is why he's in the slot. It's definitely hard
Mhm.
to cover receivers in the slot, and you need a guy that could move laterally better.
Mhm.
Obviously, then you move to our safeties and another cornerback that I think is going to start playing more and more as the season goes. He's still young. Trey
Mhm.
Tomlinson
Yeah.
from TCU, LT's nephew. He's
Mhm.
another young cornerback we have who I think has a lot of promise. And then the safety group, John Johnson III, we just signed him,
Yeah.
and it was surprising that he didn't play one snap over Russ Yeast. So Russ Yeast is I would compare to a Nick Scott. He could crack.
Mhm.
That kid can
Yep.
hit, and
Yep.
obviously he earned that starting gig. I seen John Johnson come. I was like, oh, maybe John Johnson will get it. And then you have Jordan Fuller opposite him, who's probably the highest IQ player in our secondary. And
Mhm.
so our secondary is better than most people think. We got rid of the
Mhm.
garbage with Taylor Rapp. I do miss Nick Scott, obviously, but
Yeah.
Taylor Rapp was horrible.
I do want to say our linebackers are going to be crucial because, man, just watching that
Hmm.
Seattle Rams game, wide receivers are just open in the middle a lot of times, and
Right.
with the Niners, we have Warner and Greenlaw just like covering the middle of the field a lot of times.
Hmm.
Um, so I think that's going to be crucial. Our linebackers need to be top notch in coverage, be ready for the quick throws, and we can't sleep on the Rams wide receivers for sure. And I do also want to say the Rams time of possession. You guys had like a 2-to-1 ratio
Hmm.
against the Seahawks. So, we can't have that going. We can't have the Rams with a lead, um, wasting time. We got to control the clock. We got to get a lead quick. And we just got to keep, being physical and just playing 49ers football.
Yeah, that's perfectly said with your linebackers in the middle of the field. If you
Mm-hmm.
look at Kenny Pickett's numbers, everything was
Mm-hmm.
to the outside. That was green.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Stafford's everything was in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Wagner is slower than both of your linebackers. So everything's
Mm-hmm.
going to have to be outside, which honestly works well for Tutu Atwell. He's a guy that we really don't
Mm-hmm.
like to get the ball in the middle of the field because he's so small. We like to get
Mm-hmm.
him on the hashes, on the outsides. Puka, utilize him everywhere. Peyo, I just did a show with him this week. He's calling a Puka wide receiver reverse touchdown this week. So I mean we've done it. We've done it with Cup. So
Yeah.
it's definitely possible to beat you guys. We're definitely gonna have to keep things outside. The middle is going to be pretty much suffocating running the ball, which is why I think
Mm-hmm.
Kieran Williams is going to be the feature back again. He played 65%
Mm-hmm.
of the snaps. I thought Akers
Right.
was going to do better, but
Those
what?
bigger body backs don't really do well. I mean, if you want success against the Niners, you got to kind of utilize them in a passing game more. You don't want to really
Exactly.
run them up the middle or anything, because you're going to get stopped at the line of scrimmage most likely.
And
I am
that
curious though. I was going to say Diamador Lenore ran a lot in
mhm.
the slot against Pittsburgh. I'm interested to see if they move him more to the outside to kind
Mm,
of, watch out for those outside passes, like you were saying. I don't know, like looking at last year, he started off in the slot, but kind of phased off towards the outside. But they utilized Ambry Thomas more on the outside versus Pittsburgh. So that's something that kind of piqued my eye right there, seeing Lenore in the slot. Maybe it's to combat Allen Robinson, a bigger body receiver. Once Deontay Johnson went down, maybe it's just
true.
because Isaiah Oliver wasn't really that impressive in the offseason. So, as a nickel, they just felt comfortable using Lenore. So we'll see how that goes going forward.
Yeah, I mean that's probably your weakest point is your secondary, your corners mainly.
Mm-hmm.
Your safeties, I would say no. You
Yeah.
have good
I mean,
safeties,
Hufanga,
obviously.
bro, Hufanga's just a dog. And
Yep,
that's another thing. The Niners, the defensive line's so good, they'll have 8 in the box. They're there for the run game, and they have
exactly.
Hufanga right at the line of scrimmage. Like that pressure feels you. You got Hufanga right there. If you're trying to throw a little quick pass, he's right there. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It's crazy.
We're gonna have to read that. I mean, Kieran Williams actually showed some good pass protection, which is why he played as many snaps as he did. Obviously, he's the third down back, so he was always going to be in there on third downs. But seeing him in there in first and second downs was definitely surprising, but a good surprise. Like you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned, you can't. The bigger backs aren't going to do well against San Fran. We need the quick, elusive guys that could catch out the backfield. You have
Mm-hmm.
to read the blitzes, take advantage of the one-on-ones on the outside. And I think this game's going to be close. I think a lot of people might not see it that way. We're 8-point underdogs, but this is going to be our underdog story. And
Mm-hmm.
if the Rams could beat a team like San Francisco, everyone's going to go crazy. Especially,
Oh yeah.
it's at home, but the
Mm-hmm.
crowd's going to be 50-50. So,
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sure all the national media. Oh my God, we doubted McVay. Here he is, beat this one of the Super Bowl favorites. How can we sleep on a coach like this? They getting Cooper Cup back week 5. Like, oh yeah, I can see it now.
yeah. And for you guys, I mean, even if you do lose, it's not like the end of the world. You guys start pretty slow. The last 2
Yeah.
years, 3-4, 4-4, whatever it was. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, a big part of that was injuries and then weather conditions for Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
which
Oh
screwed
yeah,
Lance. But
yeah. I mean, last year we started what 2-3, I believe. Like it started off ugly.
mhm. Yeah, I think you
Um,
were like 3-5 too at one point.
yeah, I mean, we lost. Once we lost to Kansas City, and then we got CMC full ramped up. That's when like the winning streak started happening.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
yeah, and the year before started off slow again. Obviously made it in as a wild card and lost to you guys in the NFC Championship game. But yeah, there's
Mhm.
been some slow starts. But hey, we'll see. We'll see how it goes this year. Just praying for no injuries.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. You see, the Jets, their Super Bowl hopes just went out the drain on one hit.
Yeah, that's crazy. Anything can happen, man. We can spend all summer making these predictions, and then by week 1, it's like, wow, like there it goes.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
um, so KJ, let's get your final analysis and score prediction
yeah.
on this game.
All right. My final analysis is, man, I think it's going to be a battle. Um, Definitely not going to sleep on the Rams. I try not to sleep on any matchup the Niners have because anything could happen. The Rams are being slept on, and they showed me something last week because I thought Seattle was going to win. But Rams dominated thoroughly the second half of the game and came out with the victory. You can say what you want to be against Seattle, but they're a good team. So that was an impressive win. Uh, I mean, Puka showed me something. He showed me really he could strive as that wide receiver 1 right off the bat. And Tutu show. I mean, I've been a big Tutu hater, but he balled out last week, so props to him. Stafford looks healthy. Man, I just don't know if Seattle's defensive line truly can compete with the Niners' defensive line. So I think that'll be a big factor in the game. Man, I just think the Niners have too much firepower on offense to lose. So I think I'm going to say Niners win 27-21. But it's going to be a hard fought battle.
Nice. Because I think you're 8-point favorites right now, so
Yeah.
you would take San Fran money line if you were to bet this one then.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know, dude. That 8 points is a big spread.
It is.
Not saying it can't happen, but yeah, I'd be more comfortable taking Niners money line for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's going to be a good game.
All right, so everyone already knows my score prediction. I think the Rams pull it off 23-20. If we lose this game, I'm not going to be shocked at all. I just want us to keep it close. This is San Francisco's best team under Shanahan. So what are the odds that we win with our probably worst roster on paper under McVay versus your best? It could happen. I think the Rams have a lot of confidence this week. It's definitely a game I'm not betting on. I just want to enjoy this. We're facing a team that's favored to win the Super Bowl, not even just the NFC. Power rankings have them as the number one team. So I can't really say, oh, we got this in the bag. I felt confident last week for sure. I'm definitely going to be nervous for this game. But after the first snap, I'll take a nice little sigh of relief.
Yeah, it's going to be good, man. I don't know. This is a big test for the Rams. Like you said, like they win this and people are going to start believing more. So should be a good one. I'm pumped.
Yeah. All right, KJB, I appreciate you coming on. I'm definitely going to get you on more streams, maybe more NFL-centric stuff, because the Rams and Niners don't play every week. So
yeah, our last game's week 18, no?
Yeah, so I'm definitely going to do a stream with you that week as well. And then I'll get you on NFL Talks. Kyle knows a lot about football. He gambles as well, so
yeah.
Hey, make sure you follow him. Go on.
I was going to say fantasy football is my passion. Football is my passion. I've done fantasy shows with you in the past, so yeah, I'd love to jump on another stream with you.
Absolutely, and we're going to get Kyle to he has YouTube. He does like live drafts of Underdog and stuff, but we're going to get him to get his thing popping with some San Fran content because he's very knowledgeable, man, and he can make some noise.
And I love my team. Been some heartbreaks in my life with this team, but I die for him. You know, my wife knows what it is. Like it's football's life. I think we can all agree on that. So
absolutely. So everyone, make sure to check out his X. I'm going to link it in the description below. Take care of yourself. Take care of your loved ones. I'm your boy, Ramsoholic, and we're out.
Peace.
It's 4 a.m. in New Bedford, I'm getting my shit together. City just ain't safe, these kids down for whatever. Letting the lead fly, they flocking just like a feather. I couldn't stay there forever, career not getting better. I ain't no rap, but can't imagine not getting cheddar. They posting pics in their base models, not even leather. It's not even leather. It's 4 a.m.